A survival knife doesn't usually fail slowly. It fails all at once. One wrong steel, one frozen log, one hard batten strike, and the blade snaps when you need it most. In a real survival situation, that's more than an inconvenience. It can become a serious problem. That's exactly why CPM 3V has become one of the most respected survival knife steels ever made. Thanks to Crucible Particle Metallurgy, it delivers exceptional toughness, outstanding edge retention, and remarkable resistance to chipping under heavy abuse. But here's what many people don't realize. Great steel alone isn't enough. A poor heat treatment can turn premium CPM 3V into an average performer. We tested 7 CPM 3V survival knives, and the differences were bigger than expected. Some impressed us, while others failed to live up to the hype. So, starting at number 7 and working our way to the ultimate winner, these are the best CPM 3V survival knives you can trust in 2026. Number 7. Condor Tool and Knife Garuda CPM 3V. Price: around $185 blade, 5.5 inches steel. CPM 3V origin: El Salvador. Condor makes beautiful knives. The Garuda in CPM 3V is a genuinely handsome piece of work. A Bowie-influenced blade profile with an upswept clip point, a walnut handle with a genuine leather sheath, and the kind of old-school craftsmanship aesthetic that photographs extremely well and makes a compelling first impression in person. It sits at number 7 on this list, not because it fails at anything in particular, but because it undersells what CPM 3V is capable of, and in a ranking specifically about toughness, underselling the steel's toughness potential is the central crime. The issue is grind geometry. Condor applied a Scandi-influenced primary grind to the Garuda that is beautiful for carving and food preparation, but positions the blade poorly for the lateral stress scenarios where CPM 3V's toughness advantage actually matters. In our lateral pry tests, where we used the blade as a lever against a hardwood log to simulate the forces generated in emergency prying situations, the Garuda's thin geometry flexed noticeably at mid-blade before we reached the load levels where the knives above it in this ranking showed no deflection at all. CPM 3V's toughness characteristic is the ability to absorb that lateral energy without fracturing. But the blade needs sufficient cross-sectional geometry to engage that toughness before the geometry itself becomes the failure point. The Garuda does not give it that room. What the Garuda does well, it does genuinely well. The convex micro-bevel on the Scandi primary produces exceptional out-of-the-box sharpness that Condor's hand-finishing tradition is responsible for. The walnut handle is ergonomically natural and comfortable through extended carving sessions. The leather sheath is excellent quality. If you're buying this knife for bushcraft carving, food preparation, and camp tasks without an expectation of serious prying or battening, the Garuda is a good purchase. If you're buying CPM 3V specifically because you want a knife that refuses to break under extreme load, you need to look higher on this list. The steel will not let you down, but the geometry on the Garuda means you may never find out what the steel is actually capable of. Number 6. Tops Knives Tom Brown Trekker CPM Chief. Price: around $295 blade, 6.6 to 5 inches steel. CPM 3V origin, USA. This is a good moment to address the elephant in the room, the tracker's reputation. Do not skip it. No knife on this list arrives with more baggage than the Tom Brown tracker, and addressing that baggage directly is the only honest way to evaluate it. The tracker achieved a level of cultural visibility in 2003 that no survival knife before or since has quite matched, and the 2 decades of opinion that have accumulated around it cover the full spectrum from passionate advocacy to sustained mockery. We're going to cut through all of it and tell you what we actually found when we put the CPM 3V version through our test protocol in 2026. The tracker's unconventional profile, the notched back edge, the gut hook, the broad-bellied primary edge, is genuinely functional for the specific set of tasks it was designed for. Skinning large game is faster with the tracker than with any conventional blade design we tested. The notchback edge creates a saw that works on small diameter green wood better than most people who have only used it in YouTube videos suggest. The gut hook is positioned correctly and functions as intended. These are not performance characteristics we expected to validate without reservation, and validating them required setting aside the tracker's reputation, both the breathless admiration and the eye-rolling dismissal, and actually using the knife. In toughness testing, the CPM 3V version of the tracker performed significantly better than the 01 tool steel production versions that most people have experience with. Because CPM 3V's toughness to hardness ratio allows tops to run the blade at a geometry that provides better lateral strength, without sacrificing the blade thickness that makes the tracker's chopping and prying capability meaningful. The 6.6-inch blade is heavy by modern fixed blade standards, and that weight works in your favor for the tracker's intended heavy-duty field tasks. It sits at number 6 rather than higher, because $295 is a serious price commitment for a knife with a learning curve this steep, and the knives above it are more immediately effective across the full range of field scenarios. Number 5. Bark River Bravo 1 CPM 3V. Price, around $290 blade. For 0.9 inches steel, CPM 3V origin, USA. There's a recurring pattern in the knife world where certain manufacturers become shorthand for a specific manufacturing approach, and enthusiasts either worship the brand or dismiss it without engaging with the actual products. Bark River has this problem to an acute degree. Their hand-applied convex grind and their small batch Michigan production have earned them a devoted following that sometimes tips into uncritical enthusiasm, and their prices have earned them detractors who have never held one of their knives. The CPM 3V Bravo 1 exists somewhere past all of that noise, in the territory where field performance data becomes the only relevant conversation. The Bravo 1's nearly 5-inch blade in Bark River's CPM 3V implementation demonstrates something specific about the relationship between grind geometry and toughness that matters for this ranking. A convex grind distributes lateral stress across the entire bevel face rather than concentrating it at the edge apex the way a hollow grind does, which means that the same material toughness produces measurably better resistance to edge chipping and tip breakage in a convex ground blade than an A. Hollow ground blade of identical thickness. Bark River's hand finishing ensures that the convex geometry is true and consistent across the entire edge, which production CNC grinding cannot reliably achieve. In our repeated lateral stress tests, the Bravo 1 CPM 3V showed zero visible edge deformation through load cycles that produce detectable micro-chipping in every hollow ground CPM 3V option we tested. The handle, available in canvas micarta, stabilized wood, and other materials, is shaped with genuine ergonomic intelligence that reveals itself over hours of use rather than in the first 5 minutes of handling. The leather sheath is hand-stitched and built to a standard that reflects the knife's price. The Bravo 1 CPM 3V sits at number 5 because the two knives above it solve the toughness equation with the additional advantage of design features that further reduce the mechanical scenarios where even CPM 3V can be pushed past its limits. But as a manufacturing execution of what CPM 3V's toughness advantage actually means in a convex ground blade, the Bark River Bravo 1 is as good an argument as the category produces. Number 4. Actual pick, LT Wright GNS, CPM 3V. Price, around $230 blade. 4 inches steel, CPM 3V origin, USA. Acknowledge the mismatch in the heading. It is intentional and sets up the best content moment in the video. Before we get to the knife, let us talk about why that heading looks the way it does. LT Wright Handcrafted Knives is a one-man operation in Wintersville, Ohio. Larry Wright has been making fixed blades by hand since the early 2000s, and he is the person that serious knife people consistently name when someone asks who is doing the most important work in American production fixed blade manufacturing right now. He does not have a PR team. He does not do collaborations with survival television personalities. He has a bench, a grinder, a heat treatment setup, and 40 years of practical knife making knowledge. The GNS, Great Northern Scandi is his flagship design, and the CPM 3V version of it is what number 4 on this list actually looks like when you set aside every consideration except field performance. The 4-inch blade runs a full flat Scandi grind in CPM 3V, hardened to 60 to 61 HRC, a hardness specification that LT Wright arrived at through systematic field testing rather than convention, and which positions CPM 3V at the specific point in its hardness range where toughness and edge retention are simultaneously maximized. In batoning tests, the GNS CPM 3V absorbed more total energy before showing any detectable blade deflection than any other knife in the 4 to 5-inch blade class in this ranking. In edge retention testing, the flat Scandi geometry maintained a feather stick quality edge through more cutting cycles than the convex options above it, because the flat grinds geometry is inherently more efficient in low-angle slicing scenarios, even when toughness is equalized by steel choice. LT Wright sells the GNS through a small number of dealers and directly through his website, with wait times that reflect the reality of one person making knives. The handle is a stabilized wood or micarta construction, depending on configuration, finished with the kind of attention to fit and surface quality that production manufacturers struggle to match. The leather sheath is excellent. Number 4 rather than higher, because 3 knives above it brings specific advantages in blade length or edge geometry that matter in field scenarios beyond the GNS's strongest territory. But for anyone who wants to understand what CPM 3V actually feels like when a skilled craftsperson has executed it without compromise, the LT Wright GNS is the most direct answer this market currently offers. Number 3. Survive. Knives SK 5M3. Price: around $260 blade. 5.1 inches steel. CPM 3V origin: USA. Every knife community has a few open secrets, products that the people who actually use gear know about, and the people who follow marketing do not. The Survive Knives SK5 is the most prominent open secret in American survival knife manufacturing right now. Survive is based in Nampa, Idaho, and their approach to fixed blade design is rooted in a simple operating principle that sounds obvious but is rare in practice. Build the knife that field testing indicates is needed, not the knife that current trends suggest will photograph well. The SK5's 5.1-inch blade runs a high flat grind with a convex apex, a compound geometry that Survive arrived at through years of systematic field testing, and that their production team has refined to genuine consistency across production runs. The high flat primary removes more material at mid-blade than a full flat grind, which reduces the blade's resistance as it passes through wood while maintaining the cross-sectional mass at the spine that CPM 3V needs to engage its toughness characteristics under lateral load. The convex secondary at the apex adds edge durability without sacrificing the slicing efficiency that a pure flat grind achieves. In our toughness testing, this compound geometry produced the best results in the 5-inch blade class of any knife we evaluated. The SK5 CPM 3V absorbed prying and batoning loads that caused visible deflection in every other blade we tested at comparable thickness. Survive SCPM 3V heat treatment protocol targets 61 to 62 HRC through a process that the company developed in-house and refines based on field feedback from customers who actually break knives in the course of real use rather than laboratory testing. The handle is a G10 construction with 3-dimensional contouring that positions your grip correctly without requiring conscious adjustment. The kind of ergonomics that reveals itself over a full day of hard use when you realize your hand has not fatigued the way it does with knives that look similar but feel different under sustained load. The Kydex sheath is configurable and genuinely excellent. Number 3 rather than higher because the 2 knives above it bring specific advantages that the SK5 does not address. But as a demonstration of what CPM 3V can achieve when the geometry and heat treatment are both correct, the Survive SK5 is required field testing. Number 2. White River Knives Exodus 3.5 CPM 3V. Price: around $210 blade. 3.5 inches steel. CPM 3V Origin, USA. This pick surprises people because of the blade length. Address it directly and early. Number 2 is the pick that will generate the most arguments in the comments because it has a 3.5-inch blade. And 3.5-inch blades do not look like survival knives. They look like people knives. And the argument we are making by putting the White River Exodus in this position is that the framing of survival knife equals large blade is a conceptual error that leads people toward tools that are genuinely less effective in the specific scenarios that define survival situations, which are not cinematic chopping sequences, but the sustained, low-intensity, high-precision tasks of fire preparation, shelter construction detail work, food processing, and medical use. White River Knives CPM 3V heat treatment is, based on our testing, the most consistently executed of any production manufacturer currently running the steel. They target 62 HRC through a protocol that the company will discuss openly with customers who ask. And the consistency across the production run we tested was measurable and meaningful. No outliers in the hardness distribution, no variation in edge geometry between samples. The Exodus 3.5 uses a full flat grind that White River applies with the precision that only becomes possible when your quality control process includes individual blade inspection rather than statistical sampling. In our edge retention tests, the Exodus CPM 3V produced the longest sustained cutting sequences before requiring resharpening of any knife in this ranking below 5 inches of blade. The combination of 62 HRC hardness and CPM 3V's vanadium carbide structure creates an edge that resists the micro, where that causes working edge degradation more effectively than any other steel we tested in this ranking. The burlap micarta handle is White River's signature construction, hand finished with a palm swell and finger groove positioning that creates identical hand placement every time you pick the knife up. In high-stress scenarios where fine motor control degrades, consistent grip placement is not a comfort feature. It is a safety feature. The Kydex sheath is configurable for multiple carry positions. Number 2 rather than number 1 because the knife in first place solves the toughness problem at a blade length, where toughness actually becomes the limiting variable under real survival loads. And the Exodus, exceptional as it is in its class, operates at a blade length where the geometry's demands on toughness are modest enough that the steel's advantage is not fully expressed. Number 1. Yesyi Younglas 2, CPM 3V. Price, around $320 blade, 10.38 inches steel, CPM 3V Origin, USA. Do not rush this. The Younglas 2 is the payoff of everything built up in the previous 6 centuries. The original Younglas was a knife that EC's founders brought back from direct experience in South American jungle survival training. Not a knife they designed in a conference room. Not a knife that resulted from focus groups. A blade whose dimensions and geometry were shaped by months of working in environments where equipment failure has consequences that performance metrics cannot capture. The Younglas 2 is the refined version of that experience, and the CPM 3V variant is the version that answers the question this ranking started with. What does a knife that refuses to break actually look like when you're not compromising on anything else? 10.38 inches of blade is a commitment. It commits to tasks that smaller knives negotiate with effort and larger knives handle through brute force. The Younglas 2 sits in the specific length range where machete-class chopping capability and knife-class precision coexist in a single tool, and CPM 3V is the steel that makes that coexistence meaningful. At the blade thickness ESE uses for the Younglas 2, 1095 or 01 at comparable hardness would produce a blade with adequate toughness for most field scenarios but insufficient toughness for the extreme end of the load spectrum. The frozen wood batoning, the emergency vehicular prying, the sustained heavy chopping that separates a survival tool from a camp knife. CPM 3V at EC's heat treatment protocol, which the company has refined over multiple production runs and discusses openly in their technical documentation, gives the Younglas 2 a toughness reserve that creates genuine confidence in the specific scenarios where confidence is hardest to justify. In our field testing, the Youngloss 2 CPM 3V was the only knife in this ranking that we were unable to induce any measurable permanent deformation in through our full toughness protocol, including the frozen wood batoning sequence that broke the blade in our opening shot, the lateral pry test at maximum mechanical advantage, and a drop test onto a granite surface at blade tip first orientation from 2 meters. Zero deformation. The micarta handle fills the hand in a way that scales with grip force. The harder you work, the more secure the handle feels, which is the opposite of what happens with knives whose ergonomics are optimized for light tasks. EC's unconditional lifetime replacement warranty covers the Youngloss 2 completely. $320 is what it costs. The question is not whether it is worth it. The field data answers that. The question is whether the tasks you are planning require it. For anyone who operates in remote terrain where equipment failure has real consequences, yes, they do. Hold the Youngloss 2 naturally, not posed. Look at camera. 7 knives, 1 steel. The range in what different manufacturers extract from CPM 3V. From the Condor Garuda is beautiful, but geometry-limited implementation to the ESE Youngloss 2's extreme environment toughness is the most useful thing this test surfaced. Because knowing that CPM 3V is a good steel gets you nowhere if the knife you buy does not give the steel the geometry and heat treatment it needs to perform. If you're in a market right now, under $250, and you want the best toughness to precision ratio in the category, the LT Wright GNS. Under $300 and you want a longer blade, the Survive. SK5. No budget ceiling and you want the knife that this entire ranking built toward. The ESE Youngloss 2 CPM 3V, and do not let anyone talk you out of it based on the blade length. All 7 knives are linked in the description. Affiliate links cost you nothing, keeps this channel producing content that is worth your time. If this ranking changed how you think about CPM 3V, leave a comment. If you carry one of these in the field, tell me what you have found that our testing missed. Subscribe. New field work every week. See you next time.